My name is Ariana and this is Le Mot Darling. Today I wanted to talk about some of the things that I loved reading and watching during confinement. So here in France, confinement ended actually on Monday. So I'm now back in Paris and it kind of feels like confinement never happened, besides the fact that people are now wearing masks. Definitely interesting experience to say the least. So during confinement, I was able to watch quite a few films and TV shows and read a bit too. And so I wanted to share what I most loved from these past 2 months. So if you're also interested in hearing about it, then please continue watching. The first thing that I want to talk about is a book. And my mother gave me this book actually back at Christmas and I was finally able to read it. And it's Coming to My Senses by Alice Waters. Alice Waters is a very celebrated cook in Berkeley, California. And she does a mix of French cuisine and California cuisine. Her restaurant has become really popular and she's, as far as I know, written a lot of books and cookbooks. And so this book in particular is about her life history up until opening the restaurant Chez Panis. And it's very interesting because she knows a lot of people, so there's a lot of name dropping, but it's really cool to see how close these worlds come together. Because this is the memoir of a chef, it gave me so much envy to just eat well, eat really amazing produce, which is perfect timing as it's spring, so there's so many beautiful vegetables out and everything. So not a bad book to read if you're looking for some kitchen inspiration, even though there's no specific dishes per se. So next I wanted to talk about television, and I watched quite a few series this past 2 months, but the one that really stood out to me was Unorthodox. It's by Maria Schrader and it came out on Netflix this year. And so it's about a woman who's very ultra-Orthodox, I believe it's Hasidic Jew, in a community in Brooklyn, and she realizes that this is not a community for her. She's very alienated and she can't do what she needs to do in order to be truly herself. So she runs away and moves to Berlin, and it's about her experiences there and how she's able to open up and find herself. It's a really beautiful story and it's very inspirational. The actors and actresses in it are amazing. I know this is one that's kind of been circulating, but because of when it came out, it wasn't necessarily as popular as some other series that came out just before it on Netflix. But it's so worth watching it. It's just an amazing series and it was amazingly done. So for movies, I have quite a few, and so I'm just gonna go through them. The first one is Southland Tales, and that was by Richard Kelly in 2006. And so Richard Kelly did Donnie Darko, and Southland Tales was supposed to be his mythic next film, and of course with all very hyped up films, this one did miserably. At Cannes, I think there was a lot of booing and a lot of people leaving the theater, so after that it did not do very well, but I personally really love the movie. I of course love it because Sarah Michelle Gellar is in it, and I of course love Buffy, but it's such a a weird time capsule of the early mid 2000s. It's very much also like Donnie Darko, where there's a very strong science fiction part to the film, but it's so weird and so cool. I don't know how more to explain it without giving anything away, but I definitely recommend it if you're looking for something a little bit more trippy, interesting, different, and if you like Donnie Darko, then you might like this too. My next film is Near Dark, and this is by Catherine Bigelow from 1987, and it's a vampire film. There's a lot of vampire films out there and a lot of vampire films that take place in the South, but this is interesting because it's not your usual interview with a vampire where they're very proper and rich. These are definitely like your redneck vampires. It's a very interesting look at characters who don't necessarily get talked about that much, or if they do, it's in a very negative way, and then to put them as vampires is very interesting. Hands down, the best part of the film is the first 15 minutes because there's so much tension and you don't really know what's happening first, or at least I didn't, because I didn't know what the synopsis was before going into this or had any idea that it was a vampire film. So it's just a very cool way to introduce the film and to introduce the characters. Next up I want to talk about Donkey Skin, which is by Jacques Demy from 1970. This is one of his films with Catherine Deneuve, and it's a fairy tale about a princess who doesn't want to marry her father, who is the king. And so in order to do that, she has her fairy godmother make her clothing that will make her ugly and repellent, and this clothing is donkey skin. It's a very weird film, and at times it feels very problematic, like with the whole incest thing. But the way that the film handles it is just so peculiar and unique, and I think it's definitely worth it to watch, even if the first half or so might make you uncomfortable, because it's something that is not negative in the end. And so my last film is Tempopo, and this is a Japanese film by Juzo Itami from 1985, and this is, I feel like, one of those classic food films. So to go along with my Alice Waters theme, maybe you see a theme that a lot of my confinement had to do with eating. Which is both good and bad. But this is a film about a woman who's owning a struggling ramen shop, and this man and then eventually this whole group help her create a shop that's worthy. It's a very interesting film because it kind of, throughout this main story, it goes through other ways that you can enjoy food, whether it's sexual or because it has like a strong nostalgic or familial value to it. It's a really funny film too, and I think one of my favorite things about it is the 1980s style. Tempopo was just a great film to watch at this time period because it's so comedic and laid back and a little weird. I think, like all of my recommendations, if it's not clear today that I like weird things, then yeah, I do. And this isn't any less of a weird thing. So this was a very quick video, but I hope you enjoyed some of my recommendations and we'll look into them. I feel like they're all very helpful in their own little ways for getting through the time period if you're still in lockdown or if your country's starting to come out of lockdown. But yeah, I hope you enjoy, and if you did, please like and subscribe below. Thank you so much. Bye.